Thank you.
I'm sorry. We know it's Sunday.
But I think we're all in that, like, oh my good God, it's April or mid-April, and I know we're all tired and overwhelmed. So if we can try to give each other energy today, I think it'll help us continue to make it through the next month and a half. All right, welcome to our third town hall, all about the printed guide, ticketing, and press. My name is Lois. In case we haven't met, my pronouns are she, her. I am your co-festival director. A visual description for anyone who is watching the stream or here who is visually impaired. I'm a white woman with mid-length brown hair, currently wearing a all-black ensemble. Ellen, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Ellen. I'm the other co-executive director. My pronouns are she, they. I am a white woman. I have bangs and curly hair. Today, kind of nicely curled.
Hey.
Black pants, a brown shirt, and a very colorful fuzzy sweater that has cobalt blue and bright green and other colors.
Yeah, and then you see a couple of other staff members here today. Jeanette in the front, who will be handling the live stream and chat. And then, of course, Haverty, who is making this possible for everyone at home and for anyone to watch later. If you're like, hot damn, that was a lot of information. I need a rewatch midway through.
It may be.
Yeah. Before we can completely jump in, I do want to do a quick land acknowledgement. The Hollywood Fringe acknowledges that we are on the unceded lands of the Tongva, Quiche, Gabrielinos, and Gabrielinos. Our statement serves as a practice as we commit to furthering our connection to Indigenous communities past, present, and emerging. If you want more information on our land acknowledgement, perhaps even doing your own at your own show, you can go to hollywoodfringe.org/land. All right. Announcements. And y'all, I think this is our third town hall, so you know that what you're in for today is just Ellen and I word vomiting at you all day, all day. But don't worry, there will be time for you to word vomit back at us with some questions. First off, I want to thank the Los Angeles LGBT Center for hosting us today. Thank you so much. We are recording this town hall, as I previously mentioned, for YouTube. So hi, everyone watching from home. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon, relaxing with some pajamas and a tea. I'm a little bit jealous, but I am in my pajamas. I'm going to name that. I'm kind of halfway between worlds right now. I know I had to out myself there. Here we go. Everyone's fine. So reminder, you can catch this town hall or any event this year or 14 years prior at our YouTube channel at Hollywood Fringe. A great, real deep dive into the Hollywood Fringe experience. Reminder, if you need an interpreter for any of our Fringe hosted events, make sure you email support at Hollywood Fringe at least 72 hours prior to an event, and we will schedule that for you. Today's agenda. So what is today going to be all about? We're going to talk about upcoming dates, events, and deadlines. The deadlines are getting very, very real, so we will spend some very real time talking those through. We're also going to talk about the printed guide proof and how to make sure your show is prepared to get everything you need in that printed guide. We're going to talk marketing and press. We're going to talk ticketing, all of the many, many things you can do from your admin screen when it comes to ticketing. And I want to name right here off the bat, we're going to talk about awards and industry at our next town hall. That is going to be the entire focus. So I know it's so easy to get caught up in awards and industry and what's going to happen after the festival because of all of the amazing relationships you build here. We're going to talk about that next time.
Market first. Market your show to get you it in the order of operations and you will be successful.
Yes. So I'm immediately taking it off the table today. We're not talking about it at all. Additionally, we're going to speed through this because, again, that's a huge list, right? So much to go over. So we're going to really just jump right in, speed through it. We're going to make sure to have time for questions kind of in between. So we're going to take big chunks of information and then make sure there's time for Q&A in between. So try to hold on to your questions for those sections. We will let you know when those times are coming, and that's when you'll ask your questions. Okay, upcoming events. I love that this list gets shorter and shorter the closer we get to June. So make sure you are coming to as many events as possible, not only to make sure you get all of the information that will help you be successful at the festival, but to meet other participants, potential patrons. The more you dive into Fringe, the more you will get out of it. It is just like any experience. How many people raise your hand if you've been to an event so far in office hours, a previous event? Yes, I love it. The rest of you, welcome to your first one. We're glad you're here. Make sure you're diving into as many as you can. I promise you won't regret it. Okay, educational events coming up. Tomorrow, we have our web sessions number 2. If anything that we talk about today seems overwhelming, join me tomorrow on Zoom, 7 to 9 p.m., and we will go over all of this while sharing a screen so you can see all of the things I talk about today. So make sure if the digital world is a little less comfy for you, tomorrow's event is going to be really important. And I am known to stay on that event until the bitter end. I mean, I will stay on there until 11 p.m. if people have questions. Tomorrow, I want to make sure everyone feels good in their admin screens. So please come if you're going to have questions. Okay, after that, we have the workshop number 7, Festival Expectations. That's going to be on April 26th. That's an important one. That will really give you a feel for what to expect when June actually comes in. Come on in, y'all. After that, we have our 4th town hall, all about, what did we say? Awards and industry. So for those of you that are like, I really want to get opportunity after the festival because of presenting my show here, that is going to be an important one for you. Make sure you come so that you can know exactly how to apply for awards, how to interact with industry, and how to make sure you're getting the best opportunities possible out of this festival. Okay, all of the events can be found at hollywoodfringe.org/events, including our office hours. I can't tell you the amount of emails we've gotten this week. Where's office hours this week? hollywoodfringe.org/events. That works too, or the Instagram page. But yes, I promise you, we're not gonna make you guess. All of the scheduled events are on hollywoodfringe.org/. That's what's up. Yeah, I know. We're gonna be a busser for next summer. I like that. Okay, and reminder, you can check out all of these events, the educational ones especially, at Hollywood Fringe on YouTube. Okay, office hours. Speaking of, such an amazing opportunity to get to know your fellow community. Who's been so far? Yes, it's super important, y'all. I promise by the time you get into June, you're going to be so happy you invested in your community, because your community is your audience. Your community are the people who are going to introduce you to new opportunities post-festival. This is, I would argue, one of the most important parts of the Fringe experience, is just gaining a network of people who think and have the same passions as you do. And this is going to be something you want to keep with you for a long time. So come to office hours and start to get to know your fellow participants.
And can I name that when you do go to office hours, it's then your job to be around the festival, meet other artists, and be able to tap them into that well. You know what I mean? We have 2 staff members that are full-time, Lois and I. And then right now we have 2 additional that are part-time year-round that are full-time managing the festival. So there's really not a lot of us that are working on the festival. So having our artists and our venues and our industry all be kind of in community together has always been our goal. And so please, if you're new and you haven't been to those events, please come. Please become an ambassador, and please really steward your community.
Yeah, it really is a knowledge share, I think, is one of the coolest things. We have veterans who come back. I think this year especially, we have so many people who participated pre-COVID who are coming back again. And so we have this beautiful mix of people who have done this before with great success, people who are brand new, and it never fails. You will find each other and help each other out. The new people are going to give new excitement to the old people who have been doing this forever, right? But the old people, I say that as one of the old people, but the veterans are also going to offer information based on things they've done wrong, things they've done right. And so having those 2 groups of people together, it can be a really beautiful thing. So please invest in each other in that way. So office hours are in full swing. Join us every Wednesday from 7 to 10 p.m. at a different bar, always in Hollywood. But where can we find that? hollywoodfringe.org/. Love it. Okay. Participant resources. So Ellen mentioned we do have a small team, but our small team works year-round to make sure that we have all of the information that you are going to need to successfully produce your show on the website. We have packets, we have email supports, we have articles, we have it all. And 15 years of that could be clearer, or that question gets asked a lot. Let's make sure to add that. So these resources should be something that you are keeping open on your tabs, right? So I'm going to list those out. The participant packet, hollywoodfringe.org/participants. So plural, participants. Who has seen that packet this year? Not nearly enough.
It should be more.
Yeah, it's 60 plus pages of all of the questions you're going to have answered in that packet, including we separate it out into stages. So it's what you should be thinking about early on versus at the end. There are discounts. If nothing else gets you over to that packet, there are printing discounts. There are marketing discounts. There are free marketing opportunities through organizations like LAFPI or NoHo Arts District has discounted marketing opportunities. So go to that packet. Who's going to check out the packet when they get home today? Yes, we are. I love it. Please do. It really is so helpful.
hollywoodfringe.org/participants.
Pants.
I think she could, yes.
We also have the supportal. So this is going to be all of the information that is also in your participant packet, but separated it out into articles. You can find that at support.hollywoodfringe.org. So that's ticketing articles, that's press articles, that
audience articles about what your audience is going to get as information so that you're not only understanding the artist side, but really the audience side and being able to kind of know what we're telling your people.
Yeah. And all of those articles include like listed out information. So when you're like, okay, shit, I want to create a discount code. Don't remember what they said in the town hall. Don't remember what happened in the web sessions. I want like a list so that I can go step by step and do that in the website.
Sure.
So please check that out. Also, make sure you're signed up for our newsletters. If you have already registered, you are automatically signed up for our artist newsletter. You're welcome. It'll help. I know that sometimes it's going to be like, good God, can you tell me about this information more? Yes, we can. And we will, because it never fails. The information we're sharing it's because people aren't signing up. We know that you're going to miss at least one email a week because you have so many other things. So please, please, please read your participant emails. Helpful hint, save newsletters at Hollywood. Nope. No, newsletter, not plural. Yeah, newsletter at hollywoodfringe.org to your contacts. That way it doesn't go to spam. We want to go to your inbox that you see and not to the spam folder. So please make sure you are reading our newsletters.
And also anybody that you add to your project page. So say you have another producer on your project, your director, your cast members are really heavily helping you produce a show that's device work or something. Then you're going to want to add them to that project page as soon as possible so that they can get into that flow of knowledge as well.
And if you need an extra reason to add your team to your project, they can vote for awards at the end of the season if they are included in the project page. So do yourself a favor now, because I can promise you if you email me the day before awards close and say, I'd like to add these people to the page, I'm not going to be able to do it because at that point it's just adding to the awards list, right? So do it now.
Also, your artists will know how overwhelmed you are because we'll see how many steps you have to do. And so it'll really help with that flow of information within your team so that they can understand kind of the producing process and what might be on your mind at that moment.
Yeah. And the last thing is going to be support@hollywoodfringe.org. This email is your new best fringe pal. I cannot push that enough. How many people have written support so far? Fantastic. Okay. The rest of you will. I have no doubt. And know that this is going to be the email that our entire team checks. Roddy, our artist services manager, certainly checks it the most. But and often you'll get an email from Ellen or me or Roddy personally, because when we're emailing you, respond to that email, certainly, but try to use support@hollywoodfringe.org for all of your participant questions because you have the best chance of it not getting missed. There is an actual system there, whereas my personal inbox is a personal hill. It is hit or miss whether or not I'm going to see the emails. So make sure you're using support@hollywoodfringe.org. Okay. Community ethos?
Yes. Before that, I also want to just with that funnel of information. So support@hollywoodfringe.org is being responded to within 72 hours right now because we don't have tickets on sale. And our team is trying to make sure that we're prepping everything possible so that May 1st, it's within 24 hours. And so know that there's going to be that hard pivot for your audiences. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But sometimes you're like, I have 5 questions and support is too much. We have artist one-to-ones and I feel like they're not being utilized enough. And so again, for that other funnel of information, if you're like, I'm not an emailer, I can't understand what's going on here, I want to have a meeting with somebody from the Fringe staff, you can do it. So make sure you're looking into those artist newsletters. They're in there. Every week we have different slots to be able to sign up for that Zoom meeting, be able to go through things in a more one-to-one fashion and make sure that you're getting your show's questions answered, not just general information.
Yeah. And use office hours too, right? Now that we're in person at least once a week, often more, right? This week alone, we have 3 events. You have 3 chances to ask your questions. Use those. There's always staff at office hours and we are so happy to step aside and answer a list of 5 questions. And so use those already scheduled times because that is a lot easier for us too.
And this blends in perfectly to the community ethos. So when you're at office hours or you're at all of these events and you see maybe your venue manager or you see Lois or myself or you see your fellow participant, all of us are like, June is coming. Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. And so sometimes if you're seeing somebody and they are by themselves and it looks purposeful, maybe they're by themselves and it's purposeful because they're overwhelmed. And it's really time for us to start to switch in to kind of looking at what people are how people are reacting in rooms and being able to be more open-minded to that. And also having a line to how we deal with our stress. stress during this time of year is so, so prevalent because we are working under a system that is not meant to have the type of art that you're presenting. We live in the United States and there is no arts funding for a reason. And Hollywood Fringe gets denied from tons of grants for doing the type of work that we do because we are uncurated, but also we have a strong community ethos and we're pushing out work that is a little bit more cutting edge and is just truth telling. I don't know. For me, it has been such a sad state where it's hard or where it's considered edgy to do trans work or to do inclusive work or where it's considered this because this is truth telling and this is life and this is people who exist within our community. And you just got to get comfortable with it. You have to get comfortable being around trans people and being able to have full conversations with folks that might be different than your identity and might be something different than you're used to. We're an extremely racially diverse community. And a lot of our communities are places where people not only face racism, but also like microaggressions. And we are striving to not only push racism out of our space, but also microaggressions that come along with racism or internalized racism or things that you might have been taught as you were growing up. Okay. So we understand that everybody in this room is in this learning space, but we also have to remember that more than 50% of Hollywood Fringe producers identify as female. We have about 10 to 15% of our producers that identify as disabled. We are about 40% BIPOC every year. And we need to make sure that this is a space where we're increasing that every year to match Los Angeles to be at about 50%. That means that we're going to engage in tough conversations sometimes. A Hollywood Fringe staff member might come up to you and like, hey, this is how that was perceived, and let's talk through how we can avoid that. Conversation about these things is so important because we reject the idea of punishment whenever necessary because we understand that that is not going to make the inclusive world that we are looking into. We're looking into a world where everybody can kind of leave this being like, I feel like this is my place and I feel like Hollywood Fringe is for me. And if we cannot make that safe space happen because of your behavior, maybe we talk to you and you're very resistant to talking about these things. Maybe we're in this like open conversation and you keep just trying to make excuses or you're not trying to actually listen to the problem that's happening. It's really hard then to get to a resolution. And our goal is to get to a resolution, to get to a place where the person that felt harmed doesn't experience that ever again at our festival. And also that they can feel comfortable moving forward and being like, cool, this is fine, because we do understand that there are levels and we do understand that we're just going through a lot right now. That being said, we are going to read through some like written stuff because this was just like Ellen spewing some information that kind of tells you a little bit about our process when it comes to our community ethos and our code of conduct.
Yeah. And I think we're mama bears about this community, and we are that way because you deserve a safe space to create vulnerable work. The work that happens at Hollywood Fringe is really special in that way, and that it's more often than not coming from personal story and personal experience. And so we do take it upon, it is our responsibility to make sure that that work can thrive here, that the artists who are doing this vulnerable work don't have to feel vulnerable in their community spaces. And so know that it makes a better experience for everyone. Since we introduced our community ethos and code of conduct, we have seen the festival become a different space. And so that is why we take it seriously, because all of you deserve that. And we are so excited to continue to grow in community with you so that we can continue to change the fucking world with the kind of art that is coming through this festival. Yes. So like Ellen said, we have a list of things that are not allowed. And so in addition to our community ethos, we have a strict code of conduct because this is a professional space, which can get kind of confusing. I know, because we're always saying, we are a fringe community. That doesn't mean you can act like this is not a professional space, right? Both can be true at the same time. So the following are not allowed in our community: microaggressions, verbal and physical intimidation, hate speech and harassment, sexual harassment and assault, excessive consumption of alcohol or other legal substances, aggressive behavior, disrespectful behavior. And we also, in addition to these things that are just no-goes, we ask that you're really mindful when navigating the festival when it comes to intention versus impact. We understand that your intention might not always match the impact, but if the impact did harm to someone, that is what we have to move forward understanding. And so be really, really aware of how you're coming across, because words are powerful. We know this as artists, as writers. Words have so much power. So really be aware of what your impact is, even if your intention is not always to harm. Additionally, we remember public versus private interactions. This one is key and can easily get forgotten because we do, by the end of the festival, become really close. So many amazing friendships have developed because of the Fringe. And so you can forget easily that you are in a public space when you are at events, when you are in an audience, when you are in a space like this. So keep in mind that what you might say privately, being okay, is not always okay publicly. The inside joke might not be aware. If I'm saying something to Ellen, we have a deep friendship beyond our professional relationship. Something that she understands about me might not be understood by Jeanette, who's overhearing my conversation. So please keep in mind where you are at when you're having conversations. When something happens, if something happens, we ask that you just bravely take responsibility for it. So many problems become worse when we get defensive, which is human nature, right? We understand that. It's so easy because more often than not, it's embarrassment. You don't want to have caused harm. You don't want to hurt another human. So we ask that if something is brought up to you, that you just take responsibility for it and navigate those really uncomfortable feelings in a way that is productive, because then we can move forward and have an amazing festival season with you. That said, if we are unable to work through whatever issue comes up, that is where we hit that worst case scenario where your festival time does come to an end. This is not to scare you, but merely to put those boundaries up so that you know what is expected in our community. It happens very rarely. I can count on one hand the amount of times we have had to have somebody leave our festival because of conduct. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen and will happen if you are responsible for not creating a safe space for the rest of your artists here. That said, so we talked about, we're avoiding punishment when possible. We will have conversations and navigate something to a better result. That said, if it is violent or unsafe in a physical way, your time at Fringe will come to an end without many questions asked. Again, that really doesn't happen, but I want to name that outright, which is another reason we have no excessive consumption of alcohol or other legal substances on our do not list, because that is where things can happen, right? Or when stress, we're going to be dealing with a little bit of stress. How many people in this room are stressed right now dealing with their Fringe? Yes, right? And I don't know, I tend to act a fool when I'm stressed, right? I tend to say things or sound more aggressive than I mean to be when I'm stressed. So I think in the next month, especially as we're dealing with all of these deadlines, as we're leaning into tech, just remember now how your actions come across, because that is 9 times out of 10, it's not intended, but we're stressed and those things can happen.
I want to talk really quickly about censorship.
Yes.
So this festival is built on freedom of expression and lack of censorship, which means we must maintain the utmost respect for one another to create a safe space for people to take risks within that work. We won't censor your words unless they are actively harmful towards a protected group or hateful. For example, women, people of color, queer and trans folks, disabled folks, deaf folks, fat folks, and religious folks. There are limits to this uncensored nature, and that's set by our Access Advisory Board, which is our artist advisory board that has an amazing influence on how we run things here at Hollywood Fringe. And if you want to learn more about our Access Advisory Board, we welcome you to go to hollywoodfringe.org/access. And after you've done a year of Fringe, if you want to become one of those artist advisors, we have rolling applications that'll be there in the fall. You just have to have done Hollywood Fringe once to become a part of it. And it is an amazing group of artists who are just there kind of talking about how to change LA theater. It's great. And we've gotten to such amazing places because we are artist led. We're able to really understand the nuance that goes into living in Los Angeles, the nuance into so many different people's perspectives. And that's our goal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm going to make sure you have this email if anything does happen, right? Ideally, it doesn't, but I want everyone to be prepared if something happens, if you see something happen, or if somebody harms you at the festival. conduct@hollywoodfringe.org is that email. And of course, support will answer it too, but conduct goes directly to executive staff, and we answer that every 48 hours.
As soon as we can.
As soon as we can. But that is an email option if anything happens to you while at the festival.
And that is not an email that you have to go I'm ready to ban this person. Actually, in fact, we would rather you come to us when you're like, I feel really uncomfortable and I need to talk to somebody about it. I want to navigate this. And sometimes it escalates quicker than that. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's really a place where you can understand that there's going to be people who will help you do conflict resolution. If you don't feel comfortable approaching that person and you want somebody to have a professional from the organization come to them and be like, maybe not here. This is not okay. And you don't even have to be involved. There's lots of different ways. We are victim centered in how we mediate through these things. And we work with our entire staff to make sure that we are covering all of our bases and everybody kind of feels comfortable at the end of these processes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to kind of move adjacently away from conduct, but move into something that is still a part of your participant agreement, which is licensing, copyright, and ensuring you don't get any legal trouble doing your show at the Fringe. What a sexy topic. So I'm going to name out up front, like, we're not lawyers. Well, we are arts administrators. So no, everything we're saying here is to encourage you to do your own research. We live in a beautiful world where the internet has so much to offer. So please do your own research. But we want to put some things out in front of you that you should be thinking about, because we do need to remind you that just because Fringe is a nonprofit organization and most of the shows that are participating are low budget or maybe not getting as much visibility as they would doing a standalone 4-week run, that doesn't mean you are not having to adhere to the same legalities of a ticketed theater event, right? So I need to name that out front. I also should mention that while the Fringe is a nonprofit, the umbrella doesn't cover the individual shows. So looking at your show as if you're going to do it again for a 4-week run, like this is, you have to live in the legalities of how to produce a theater festival or a theater show. This is also something you agree to in your participant agreement. So the agreement that the primary producer signs, it is reminding you that you are legally liable if you do not own the rights to your show, if you do not own the visuals that you're putting up on the Fringe website, those sorts of things. So this is your reminder, and you'll get more of them, I promise. But you must own or have permission or a license for every aspect of your show, unless you can confirm that it is copyright free, right? That there is absolutely copyright free options, but also confirm that, because we've been known to get into Ask Haverty. We got it from a copyright free website, but did we get like pinged on YouTube? Yeah, we got pinged. So make sure you're even double checking your copyright free stuff to make sure that you are not
as well as a Google and you pick a song. You really have to make sure that you're going through reading, especially when it's something that's going to be produced over and over and over. Your goal is that the next time somebody from a bigger institution says, "Hey, do you have the rights?" You're like, "Yeah, I have it all online.
I'm ready to go."
Yeah, this is how I get it for this show run. I'm fluent in it.
Yeah. So keep that in mind with music. I'm going to say music, right? This is a big one. With any sound you're using, just because it's, a door knocking sound doesn't mean it's not licensed by someone. With your script, of course, your script, right? With any visuals that you have on the stage, and with any images you were using in print or digital marketing. That's huge. I'm going to name, we live in a world of AI where it is so fucking easy for anyone to come through and find that image by doing reverse image searches. So please, please, please do everyone a favor and make sure you own your images.
You can't just pick something off Google and then throw a filter on it and call it your own. Even if you're utilizing images within Canva, there are rules on how you and cannot use that image. It is incredibly important that when you're using imagery throughout your show, you understand the full legality around it. Because if somebody comes and asks you, we're going to have to come and be like, what's going on? How do we fix this? And you need to know kind of.
Exactly. Mic drop.
No, that you're in the legal right. You need to have that license ready to send.
Yeah. And so keep that in mind as well. If you're doing a parody show, there's parody law, but parody law does not mean you have the absolute right to say whatever you want to about someone, right? So make sure you're looking at parody law if you are doing a satirical piece or a parody at the festival.
The line about parody is that when you're doing a parody, that is your argument in court, not your license to do the work. And so you need to remember that you could be sued for literally anything, even if it's legal in court or not. You can be sued for anything, but especially a lawyer will take it on when you are in the wrong.
So all things to keep in mind. The good news, though, we're going to send out an email on Wednesday to all primary producers with all of this information, a little checklist of things that you should be thinking about, as well as some helpful articles to help you start that research journey. But we just wanted to get it out there now so that you can be thinking about how to be smart producers who do not end up paying some hefty legal fines 8 years from now, because sometimes that's when it happens, y'all. It's not just because you get through June, you're like, didn't get caught. That'll still bite you in the ass later. So all good things to keep in mind.
And now we move on to Fringe Central. We're about to announce this year's Fringe Central. I think we're going to rename it Fringe HQ. Temperature read, Fringe HQ sound better. Doesn't it sound more better than Fringe Central? Okay. So Fringe HQ, we will be back at Ovation Hollywood, the same space as last year, but we have some little differences. So I'm going to go through them. So Fringe Central, Fringe HQ, plays host. Oh, by the way, we're not even announcing this till Tuesday. So this is really good that you guys get to hear it. It's because you come in person. You get to hear it early. This is why we do this. And yes, Fringe Central HQ will play host to our in-person box office and merch shop, the Box Shop. It's one and the same. It's so cute. It's so fun. We'll have like a lineup t-shirt that has the name of your show on the back. We'll have our box office where you can point people to who want to buy things in person, because we know some people's parents are like, no, I want to buy in person or over the phone. Don't worry. We got you. We've got a box office line. We've got an in-person space, and it's only open during certain hours, which I'm about to go over. Wednesday through Sunday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. You're like, what? That's the weirdest time. That's when people buy tickets. So Wednesday through Sunday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., May 24th through June 23rd. Sorry, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. You're totally right. That was my bad. I was looking at another line. 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. 5 hours of fun. It will also host special events like our Fringe Cabaret, which is where you can get like a little taste of a bunch of different shows. We bring in audience and industry to be like, here's 10 shows to get a preview of. Applications for that will be open later in
like a week.
In like a week. We have more information coming out. This is why you should read your newsletters. It's probably in here. Artists in the industry discover fringe arts industry events. So those are events where you can come meet our registered industry. So we'll have panels or networking sessions where you can come and talk to people about your show one-to-one. Instead of having to like Google them and find them at a bar, they'll like be in a room with a lanyard on. You'll be like, that's that person that I want to talk to about my run. Our industry is very nice and they do come to things. Ticket sale. Oh, sorry. I'm skipping. We will not have a bar this year, except for at a few ticketed events, because I don't know, it's just not the vibe anymore. Well, and we'll talk a little bit about some little previews of how we're going to kind of like replace that like out in the about culture.
Yeah. And Amy, this is, I think, a prime example of like we listen to the festival participants every year at the postmortem, which will be an event you hear about later, but come to the postmortem and tell us what your Fringe experience was. We genuinely want to know the good, the bad, the ugly. That way we can make the festival better. And part of the feedback we got at last year's event was we don't want the bar there. It's not being utilized. We could go to the Plunge. We can go to 3 clubs. We can do, we can go have a drink elsewhere. What we want Fringe Central to be is that box office, is that interfacing with audience. So,
and in a bonus, and something that's discussed at Town Hall, is that we're going to actually have that backspace that we use. So like during the front space will be like a public space, but the backspace will be an artist co-working space and a podcasting studio. So if you want to be able to come and record your own content, there will be like a sign up so that you're able to come into the podcasting studio, utilize it for your own press, your own stuff. It'll be branded as the festival. You can do whatever you want in there as long as you sign up. And then in the back, we'll have things like printers, so you can utilize our printer, and we're trying to get it to be free, and we'll see if we get sponsored. And we don't get sponsored for this, then it will be like cheaper than going to Staples. You know what I mean? It'll be like at cost. But that whole back space will kind of be like your place where you can be like, I don't want to work at home. I need to take a meeting with my cast. And there will be space for you to do that. And then like couches in the front and like chiller space for you to, I don't know, bring people around. Say that you have to take a meeting with an industry member. You guys can take it there. It'll be just kind of your space. And there's free parking there for 3 hours too. So 4 hours.
No, it's validated parking. So it's much cheaper. Sorry, for 4 hours.
It's $3 for 4 hours. Yeah. Thank you. That's what it was.
At the Dave and Buster rate.
Yes, it's $3 for 4 hours. Thank you. That's what I remember. And you and your guests can have that as well. Yeah. Okay, that's Fringe Central. I have to keep talking. I'm not done. The Fringe button, your community badge. There are 2 types of buttons that you can get, and your button gives you like $1 off tickets. And it's also this like badge that shows people, I'm a part of this festival. So people tend to wear it every single day that they're there because it gets you special things. There are 2 types. There's a participant button. That's you guys. You're our artists. And that one's more special. And then there's the general button. And that's for all of our audience members and for people who are hardcore fringers. If you see somebody wearing a button, you should be pitching them your show because they see more than one show. And we are so lucky to say that it was like something like 2,000 people saw 5 shows or more last year. Like it is really a community of people who theater hard. So those are the people that you want to market to. So both of them give you $1 off tickets. Both of them give you access to fringe events, like our opening night party. You have to have it to get in. And our artists and industry kind of space, like when we're doing some of those more private events, you may have to bring it just so that you're a part of the festival. It grants you discounts from local businesses, our hotspot list, And this year's hotspot list is going to be a little bit different. We're marketing our little kind of hubs around your neighborhood. So around your theater, there's going to be like some more specialized, like this is the bar for fringers, that you can see your community out on the east, west, and central side. And so those bars will be more knowledgeable that fringe is going on. So they'll be more amenable to marketing. They'll be more amenable to you coming in and kind of plunging it up, but all around the zone.
I'm going to add really quick pricing on that. So if you're the primary producer of your show, that means you paid the money to register, you get a free button. And that is an automatic thing that will happen prior to May 1st when those discounts start to play in, right? If you are a participant on a project, another reason to add your team to the project page, you can get a $3 button. That is your participant discount for the button. And then general audience pays $5 for their button. So it's still not like an excessive price, but know that those are the tiers. When you buy that online, it gives you automatic access to the discounts via the Fringe site. So when you're buying tickets, it'll automatically pop up your $1 off, right? And then you can come pick up your button in person closer to the festival. And we'll send out information once we have that order in when you can start picking them up. Usually it's at office hours, and we'll have a list and we'll check off your names and give you your physical button.
We will have physical buttons starting about May 15th at office hours and at Fringe HQ. So come and get them early because you don't want to get them on opening night. There's a long line. I was reading this and I read it as get excessive access, get exclusive access. So, okay. So if you volunteer for us, it's great. Like I said, we're so small and we need you. We actually really do. And so you can get, if you volunteer with us, there's some exclusive perks that you can get a part of.
Excessively exclusive.
They're excessively exclusive. You can get exclusive access to free or discounted tickets. You can get professional development. We always try and work with our volunteers to like talk to them about what they're trying to do. Many of them have taken meetings with me and Lois throughout the year to be like, I want to do this in arts administration. What are my pathways? And we've been like, come, let's have coffee. Let's work it out. An invitation to our volunteer appreciation event. It's really fun. And yeah, it's really great. You get to hang out with us more. Discount on festival merchandise, recognition during our closing night ceremony, and really the most important part is that you get to be a part of the community. I would say that volunteering is like such a great way. If you're like, I don't know that many people and I really want to meet people within that, you're going to meet your fellow artists that kind of have that like community centered mind. We try and put you into things that like you'd be good at. So if you're like, I'm not going to lift 30-pound boxes, like, don't worry. And if you're like, that sounds great, I don't want to talk to people at the box office, then that's for you. You know what I mean? So we have like these different ways. You can be involved in Fringe Central. You can be involved in our opening night party. Although you'll probably want to celebrate that night. We usually try and staff it with people who aren't participating that year. Outreach events. So many different things we utilize our volunteers at, and it's a great way to be able to promote your show. Because while we don't promote shows at the box office, we don't promote things while doing ambassadorship, our artists do, and it's great for them. I get to keep going. Jeez. If you haven't volunteered in the past 2 years, please fill out the new volunteer application before requesting shifts. They're all available at hollywoodfringe.org/volunteer. We really need support May 14th through the 18th as we load and build Fringe HQ. Also, please let us know on the application if you can drive and distribute festival marketing. A great way for you to get your postcards out there too. Put down a few guides, then you're putting down yours. We already have a list for you. And once Fringe Central opens, or if you have experience doing graffiti with spray paint, then you'll work with me because I do too. And it's really fun. And we're going to do some fun stuff this year.
No walls in which we don't have permission for. Just naming out outright before we see else Fringe graffitied everywhere.
No, it'll be lawful, kind of. Once Fringe Central opens, participants can help out at Fringe Central and promote their show. Volunteering for Fringe Central team will put you in to engage with potential ticket buyers. Come, volunteer with us. I swear we don't bite.
Yeah. Please. I'm struggling. So, but if you aren't able to volunteer, because we get it, y'all are kind of busy doing shows, and that's totally fine. But you're looking for a way to thank the volunteers or market your show to people who talk and communicate with a lot of festival people, offering discounts to the volunteer or Commissioners Club members is a great way to fill your house with people that will talk about your show.
To other people who see shows.
Yeah. So no, that link is going to be available in upcoming newsletters and is already in our participant packet, which is at hollywoodfringe.org/participants.
Some key dates, and then we're going to take some questions because they might be burning. April 15th. What is that? deadline to register. You must. I'm on one. You must register by the state to be listed in our printed guide and get your show title on the t-shirt. If you're not in by the 15th, I don't have your name and I don't know where to put you because it's so hard to do the t-shirt. It takes like 3 days. So please get it in on time. Yeah. Guide ad and your guide proofs deadline. Does anybody know when that is? Oh, look at that. You got it in your mind. Props. I love it.
The rest of you will work on it.
When did tickets go on sale? May 1st.
You know that one, yeah.
That one's a big one. And then we have our previews 5th through the 10th, which previews, they're the same thing. We just call it previews so that you can mess around a little bit more. Get kind of like your first show in without being like, oh my God, it's the full run and everybody's going to judge me. It's more like having a show where you can be like, okay, my preview's done. I can get into the real thing. That being said, some people use it as a real run. Who knows? Then you have the real 2025 Hollywood Fringe 12th through the 29th. With our opening night party that night before. Do not schedule shows on the 11th.
Do we announce where it's going to be, even though we haven't officially put it in print?
Yeah. Here, welcome. It's in the courtyard. It's freaking gorgeous. Yeah. It's like this beautiful ceremony underneath the stars. And, we have our award ceremony here as well. But our opening night party is like a ritualistic, like beautiful time that we all like come together, talk about things, and then dance really hard for like an hour. It's great.
Yeah, so definitely don't miss that.
And then that last night, we got Monday. Is our award ceremonies on a Monday because it's before all of the shows are, like all the shows end, And then you have that 10 a.m. deadline on that Monday to vote for them. So that way all of our shows can be voted on for awards. And that'll be here too. So yeah. What,
so we'll bring the mic around. Do me a favor, y'all. And only if we've talked about it, ask a question about it. If we haven't, trust we will get to it. Yeah. And if it's super personal, because we do have so much to get through and it's already 2:46. If it's a super specific question about your show that is not going to really benefit the whole group, support at HollywoodFringe.org or chat with us after because we're not going anywhere.
Just to remind you, we have coming up press and reviews, guide ads, guide proofs, everything printed guide.
Everything.
And ticketing.
Yeah.
And marketing. So
save those things. So if you have a question
about Fringe Central, about our code of conduct, about volunteering, that's now.
So raise your hand, and when you are handed the mic, give us your name, your pronouns, and tell us the name of your show. Start advertising now.
Hi, thank you so much. First off, thank you, Lois and Ellen, for everything. And Ellen, I really appreciated earlier you used the word theater as a verb. People really hard. I love that. My name is Hal Rutnick. My pronouns are he, him. My show is Jersey Devil, a dead dad comedy. And I had a question for y'all since this is the first show I'm producing at Fringe, and I'm very excited about promoting the darn heck out of it. Busking. Getting out on the street and making a little spectacle in character to promote your show outside of the theaters. Do you have any tips on neighborhoods where that's okay, volume that's acceptable, times in that? Do you like it? Is that a thumbs down? Whatever.
Guess what? We do. And we even have a busking program where you can do it with other people who are doing fringe shows and that you're not just out there by yourself. And so we will be going over opportunities like that in the marketing section and the whole type. But we will also put out a blog post closer to about how to do it yourself on Hollywood Boulevard's always a great one, the Promenade, all of these other spaces that are amenable to street performance.
Yeah, I'm going to name just included with that is just be very aware of your surroundings. If it's a venue that you are operating out of, check with them. If it's a venue you're not operating out of, check with them. And also just be respectful of the other shows, right? As much as you want to share audience, if someone else's show is coming out, you want that audience, but you don't want to piss off that show, right? So there's that fine balance, just like everything of asking questions and communicating with people around you.
It's super legal, but there's like a permission. Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk. All right. Next question. Anyone else? Perfect.
Hi, I'm Raphael. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm doing Toy Gory. If we don't have everything totally squared the way we love it in promotional material by the 20th, we can get something to get in the printed guide and stuff like that. But we can still zhuzh on the website and that sort of thing afterwards.
Yes, and you don't want to break your marketing up. So whatever's in the printed guide, just make sure it relates. So maybe if you're going to do that, have a color that you're going to to make it really simple and make that color translate into the deeper design. Whatever it is, just make sure that that branding looks exactly the same, because if it's two totally different images, it won't help you sell your show.
Yeah.
And then I would say just don't get an ad, you know?
Yeah, but more on that coming up, because I promise there's a little more wiggle room than we've properly scared you about, which is the whole point, right? Like fire into the ass and then say, don't worry. There's a little bit of time.
Should we talk about
Should we dive right in unless there's any pressing questions about things we've already talked about? Yeah. Oh, June 11th. Yeah.
Got it in our brain.
Yeah. So we will have information going out this week all about that. So I promise that one we won't let you miss. We want everyone there. We want you celebrating. So we won't let you miss that.
But your button is your ticket for the general admission.
Yeah. All right. One more question.
Is that the same night as the cabaret thing you were talking about?
No, cabarets are super different, and we're going to go through it. Don't worry. I promise.
We try. I know it. I feel like we're withholding, but I promise what we're doing is just giving you just enough that you can hold on to. And then,
so we can hold on to it.
Yeah. Okay. Printed guide. Deep breath. Everyone, deep breath. This is a lot. I want to name that, and it's okay. We're going to get through it. So let's jump right into these deadlines because they are coming up. What is the printed guide and why is it important? Great question. I would love to answer. The HFF25 printed guide will be nearly 100 pages of how to fringe. That includes show descriptions, so the listing that you have for every show, and a daily schedule. So our audience can very easily go to Monday, June, and find where they're at and find what shows are coming up next, because audience will see the theater verbate. They will absolutely go to 15 or not that many. They'll go to 10 shows a Saturday. So all of that is in there. On top of that, it shows you how to navigate the festival. There is a map with all of the venues, with all of our hotspots, so that audiences can go to those 8 shows, but also grab a drink at the Plunge with the 10% off, or grab dinner at St. Felix with 15% off, and find their venue on the map just in case somebody doesn't have a phone that they're mapping with. In addition, we print 2,500 copies and we distribute them all over Hollywood. We're putting them in areas where we're getting new audience. So we're introducing your shows to a new pocket of audience. And that includes bars, restaurants, hotels, tourist centers, anywhere that we can get exposure for your show, our festival, etc. You can still participate if you do not meet the printed guide deadlines. It happens every year. But if you can get it all in time, why not? That is more marketing for your show. So do yourself a favor and try to hit all of these guide deadlines. I'm going to name. So here's the new date I'm throwing at you, right? I need you registered by April 15th. Why? So that I can keep track of you. The next job for the next 2 weeks my job is to make sure as many of y'all get in the printed guide as possible. If I don't know that your show exists, I can't help you. I can't light the fire under the ass. I can't send an email saying, hey, weird, I don't see a venue for you. I'm going to need to tell audience where to go. So if you are registered by April 15th, you have the best possible chance of getting all of the other little things in, getting your venue in, changing your ticket price, whatever it is. But if I don't know you exist, I can't help. So how many people are registered right now? Well, hot fucking damn. Nicely done. And if you're not, you're going to really soon, right? Yes. Perfect. Okay. Because here's the new date I want in the heads for people who are still booking their venue, because that's okay. I get it. There's a lot happening. I need that by April 21st. Deal? April 21st. And that will help you be able to proof your guide and all of that. But more on that. Okay. So the 3 things that need to happen to make sure you make it into the printed guide by the 21st, you've registered. Yay, most of you have. That's fantastic. You've booked a venue. How many people have booked a venue? Whoa. Okay, team. We're doing it.
These are always the people that are on it, the people that come to these things.
So I'm looking at you at home right now.
Yeah.
You also need to accept your deal. So maybe you booked a venue, and I know that there are several venues that are still putting the dates in the website. It's okay. I'm working closely with all of the venues. If you have confirmed to deal with your venue, we're going to make it happen. I promise you. So I know those are getting entered in as we speak. But once they submit your performance dates, you need to accept the deal. Otherwise, it's not real, because we like a check and balance, right? We want to make sure the venue sends you your dates. You've looked at them and go, yes, that's exactly what we agreed upon. Once you hit approve, those dates become real on my guidebook. Deal? Okay. So we're double checking those dates. Okay, let's talk proof. What do we need to look at in the coming days? Because the earlier you start to proof, the better chance you're going to feel really good by the time we start sending proofs in print, right? So the title, number 1, let's make sure we have a title that we're happy with, because you do not want it to change after print. Can you? Yes. Should you? Absolutely not, because no one's going to be able to find your show. They could be looking at that guide all day, and when they put it in the website, nothing comes up. That's so good for you. So we're going to make sure our title stays the same. Company. Number 2 is checking your company. That is the option you put in on registration. You can change that by going back into your registration, application. That's the word. What does that mean? Because if you don't have a company, this does throw people. That can be your name. That could be a new company that you're gonna LLC someday, but you want to start to brand yourself. So that can be whatever you want it to be, as long as it's not an existing company that you do not own, right? Going back to the legalities. Sorry?
You will receive a cease and desist.
And so, because we do live in LA, right? So let's name 2. We've gotten them. So no, unfortunately, this is one of those times you kind of want to live in a smaller town because the odds of things scooting past people are pretty big. Not here. So make sure the company does not exist elsewhere. 3 is your runtime. This is where you're going to want to decide how long your show actually is, right? I know that a lot of you registered maybe a month ago and things have changed. In order to change your runtime, you need to email your venue. Your venue is the only person who can change your runtime. You can change a lot of other things on your own in your project page, not your runtime. Why? Because you don't run the venue and I don't know what's scheduled before and after. So email your venue to change your runtime. The 4th thing is minimum age. That means it's family friendly. It's making sure that you don't have 10-year-olds at your show that is inappropriate for 10-year-olds, right? So when it comes to minimum age, that's what you're putting there. If you are at a bar, I don't believe we currently have any shows at a bar, but keep that in mind just in case. It is a 21 plus, right? And if you are in a space that is legally only for adults. 5, your short description. This is the one you want to spend some time on, right? Because in the project page, you have the short description and the long description. The long description is what shows up on the digital. That can change any time. I mean, consistently if you want to. Don't recommend it, but you could change it June 5th if you wanted to. Dates. Meh. But your short description is what goes into the guide. Make that count. There's not a ton of characters, so really put some time into your short description. 6, ticket prices. And we're going to talk a lot about how to futz with those today. But the guide will reflect your general ticket price. What does that mean? The price on each performance that is listed under general. So do you maybe have different prices listed as your general price for previews up until later? Maybe. So that guide price would list like $15 to $20 or a range if that is the case, because you can absolutely have different performances at different costs. It's just going to show a range on the guide. But you're going to want to make sure you kind of narrow that down. Can it get cheaper later? Sure. I don't recommend it get more expensive later because then you pissed off your audience square one, right? Having your audience trust you is such a big part of marketing. If your show says $10 on the guide and then they go to buy a ticket and it's $20, you've lost their trust.
Because you're already sold out or something.
Yeah. So check your ticket prices and you can change those. I'm going to remind you in each performance. So you have to go in and edit each performance. And that's how you change your ticket price. Your category. Now is where you want to make some decisions about awards and marketing. So this is the one time I'm going to talk about awards. Your category is how you are voted for in awards and where your show, where your show lives in the guide. That is your category, right? Whether it's burlesque, it's solo show, it's clown, all of the options are on the application. Now is the time to change it if you want to. How do you do that? You go back into your registration application. You can see on your project page, there's all the media, right? To the left side. Below that, it says, you are registered for the 2025 Hollywood Fringe Festival. And then it says view application. Click that and go back in and you can change your category. So now is the time. Okay, the last thing is your schedule, right? Your venue has entered that in, but now's the time to double check. Is it correct? Because woof, what a bad time to find out that your dates are wrong after the guide goes to print. So we have title, company, runtime, minimum age, short description, ticket prices, category, and schedule. All of these things are what we need to pay attention to. Where do you check that all out in one place? The guide proof tab. So when you are logged in on your admin tab, you have a little tab on the top that says guide proof. Click that and you can see all of that information and view the digital version of what your guide listing will look like. Spend some time on there. Make sure you're happy with it. Send it to a friend and then, have them send you theirs. Like double check it now, because how rough if you've misspelled really obvious words because you're tired or stressed. And then that's not an email you want to have to send me like, hey, weird day. I've misspelled because, and that's kind of an embarrassing moment, right? So unless it's artistic, double check. Because there's hundreds of these and I cannot spell check. I will not spell check because I'll assume anything is an artistic choice. Once you feel comfortable and confident with that ad listing, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to send it to me. You don't have to send it anywhere. You just hold tight until we send out those proofs. Then you do have to do something. Then you're going to proof them because we are human. Errors happen. You are human. Errors happen. So we're going to read the proof. Control F is a great way to make sure you don't have to read 100 pages of guide to find your listing.
Or Command if you're on MacBooks.
Yeah.
Little Apple.
Yeah. I can't remember if it's control. Command on Apple. Command, thank you.
On PC.
On PC, Command on Apple. So, yeah, but definitely do that. And we'll have that all in a newsletter. Jeanette is going to make it super easy for everyone to prove. So what to expect with those proofs? We have a whole schedule. So these dates also, y'all, is kind of your like worst case scenario dates. Because like registration deadline is the 15th. We're saying to book your venue by the 15th. The dates I'm about to list is your last chance to get in the guide. So on April 22nd, that is when we send that first round of guide listing and daily schedule proofs. What does that mean? If you have not registered or booked a venue by the 21st, you will not be in that proof, right? So we want to, by April 21st, have your registration and your guide. After that, we will send information on how to edit because things happen. We know that. And sometimes seeing it in print makes you go, no, I don't like how that looks, or I've forgotten this. So you will have a chance to edit from there. Our next proof send is going to be April 27th. That's where we send another round of the exact same thing with the edits that you had requested prior and any new shows that have since registered or booked a venue. So, right, that's last call number 2. If you have your booked venue and registered by the 26th, I can still get you in. After that, I cannot. So that is your last chance. But remember, you want to register and book your venue earlier because if you register on the 26th, you only get one chance to double check that your listing is correct, right? So we're making choices. If we're in early, we get several rounds of proofing. If we're in late, fingers crossed, I hope it works. And then May 1st, this is the very last proof I send. This is going to be a formatted version. So the first 2 are going to be just literally a Word doc with the information. On May 1st, we send a formatted version with all the pictures and the pretty highlights and all of that. At this point, I will not accept edits unless they are my fault, unless they are our design team's fault. It's because we're human and, oh my God, page 14 disappeared. We can't have that. Or, one of the listings got cut off when we were in design. That's something we'll fix. I cannot add anything new to the guide or make edits unless it is my fault on May 1st. But that is your last chance to look at it and make sure that I didn't miss your guide listing, okay? From there, so like I said, I've given you like these worst case scenario dates. If we're still securing a venue, it's okay. If I have it by one of those 2 dates, we will get you in the guide. Additionally, remember, you can look at venues at hollywoodfringe.org/venues. There are still venues with some great schedules available. In fact, we're even adding new venues. So if you are still looking, do not be afraid. We have time. I work closely with the venues over the next 2 weeks to help make sure you'll get, if you're registered and don't have a venue, we'll be talking a lot over the next week and a half. I will be sending emails. I work with the venues who has space, who wants to connect. So we really do try to make sure you have a home. But the longer you wait, the less time you're going to have to be happy in that home, right? You don't, you just have to make some tough calls and you don't get to tour as many, that kind of thing. So we're registering as soon as possible. But look at this lovely group that's already registered. I'm so proud. Okay, what is it? Yeah. Yeah, printed guide ads. Thank you. Okay, we have until April 20th to do a printed guide ad. Inclusion in the guide, that all the things we just talked about, that does include an image, right? That is just your listing. That is all of the 10 things I named that you need to edit. If you want an image in the printed guide, you have to purchase and upload your image by April 20th. You can buy the ad at hollywoodfringe.org/market, and you can find specs and easy Canva and other templates like Photoshop at hollywoodfringe.org/ads. If you are new to design, I highly recommend Canva. Y'all, I'm not a designer, and Canva is a dreamboat of a program. So really great. If you're not a super designer, that is going to be a great option for you. Remember, you get 50% off as a registered participant. So make sure you have registered before you buy your ad, and make sure you're logged in so that you get that discount. 8-page ads are $125, quarter-page ads are $250, half-page ads are $500, and full-page ads are $1,000.
Those are the discounted rates.
Those are the discounted rates, correct. So when are we going to purchase and upload our ads by? April 20th. That's right. And after April 20th, we'll send out proofs. So same with the guide listings, we will send proofs of your printed ad because we want it to look good. And we want to let you know if it's too small, if you sent the wrong specs, if you know what, that ad looks fucking fire, but I can't read it because the font is too small. We will do our best to kind of give you those pointers and send proofs so that you get a visual of what it's going to look like in the ad or in the guide.
Our graphic designer works her butt off to make sure that the guide ads look good. She like really works with whoever buys an ad. If you get sent in something and it's just not going to work, she will literally work with you until it does.
Yeah. Like,
she's so helpful.
Yeah. Like, can we make it for you? No, but there is, hollywoodfringe.org/participants. There are discounts on designers who will happily work with you. If you're like, you know what, I have a great piece of artwork, but I don't know how to make it an ad. We have some amazing artists who are,
They'll make it from scratch.
right. And who are like past participants. They just love this community so much. And they're like, I'm a graphic designer. Why don't I connect with more shows? So check out the participant packet. There's the word. So, okay, all of that. The next thing up, if you have bought a printed guide ad on April 25th, you will get an email from me that allows you to join the auction for a premium spot if you choose. This is optional, but the only people who will have the option to purchase the back cover, the centerfolds, or the front cover are people who have already purchased an ad. This is the one time you have a chance to choose your location. Otherwise, it's just dealer's choice. We try to make it fair, but it goes any and everywhere we can put the ads. So on the 25th, if you have bought an ad, you will get an email from me to open it up for auction if you do want one of those spots. Know that any bidding you do, we take the total that you've already paid out of it. So say like, you paid $1,000 for a full page ad. If you end up bidding $2,000 for the back cover, it's $1,000 off because you've already put that in. So keep that in mind when you're bidding, that whatever you've already put in will take out of the final total. So on the 25th, look out for an email from me about that. Okay, that's the guide ads. The digital impressions, the website ads can be bought anytime. So you have time for those, but the printed ads are coming up quick and we might run out of space this year. So just keep that in mind. Like getting them earlier than later is a good idea. Let's do Q&As all about guide listings because that is a shit ton of information. So this one all about guide ads, guide listings, guide proofs, guide, and I don't know, fourth one. Any questions?
Hi, my name is Reshma Meister. I'm doing a solo clown show called None of Your Business. My question is about the guide ad or the ad itself. Should the ad not just be your poster or your image?
Here's the thing. It should relate to it for that marketing purpose. But like, you don't need the Hollywood Fringe logo on your ad. You're in the Hollywood Fringe guide. It's pretty obvious. And you can make some creative choices to make sure that like your dates stand out more or maybe a little tagline. It's really up to you. And then a lot of people will reformat, right? Because if you're doing half page, not the same as as most postcards, although for a horizontal, it's probably closer. And the same thing with quarter or eighth. So it just, it depends. Most people who have a quarter page ad, it'll look pretty similar to their postcard.
Yeah. Quarter page is the way to go. If you're like, I'm not really ready to reformat, that one's going to fit.
Quarter page or full page.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Luke Altabiano. I am producing a show called How Do I Hold It? My question is about the guidebook. Do the participants get a copy of that, or do we have to we get it automatically?
Oh, you just pick it up when you come to one of our events. So if you're coming in person, then of course you're going to get it, but you better get them before they run out.
And they're free. I brought one if we want to pass it around. Let me make sure I didn't store anything in it. I tend to put I'm going to pass it. If anyone wants to look at it, I'm just going to pass it around. This is last year's.
We're silly billies today. I love
it. Any other questions?
That's great because while we're passing that around, which like, don't worry, I'm used to talking to distracted people. We're going to talk about press and reviews. And I know you're going to listen to that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just
sorry. My name's Kyle. I'm doing a show called Too Good to Be True. It's about narcissism. But on the website, when you like search something, it's like a square image. But like if you click on something, it's like a fuller paper size image. Is there a suggestion on terms of like it's better to focus on the square image versus the bigger image?
Great question. So yeah, images, they're fun, right? And like Instagram just changed everything from being a square to being the larger thing. Like screw you, Instagram. Kind of a similar thing with the website. So I think for your header, like your main image, make that a square. So you know how you can I think. So
this is on your project page. For some context, on your project page, your digital thing that shows up when you are doing your show on our homepage will have a square image.
Yeah. So if it's going to be the main image that you put the little star next to, make that a square because that will also be your iPhone app button when we have the iPhone app with all the tickets on sale. So keeping that header image, that main image, a square will work across the board. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Make all of your images any size because they'll show up when they click just how they are.
You can even do videos.
Yes, please do videos. We live in a Netflix world. People want the teaser, right? So do videos, do trailers and promos. But the digital impressions I'm going to name are slightly different. We build the digital impressions to basically work for any file size. It's really flexible in that way. And I don't think I have it off the top of my head.
I don't have it either.
I'm sorry. Email support@hollywoodfringe.org
and we'll get you
the specs. But genuinely, anything works for that ad. We try to format it so it works for any size.
And you can upload it multiple times. You can change it.
All right. Good question.
Anything before we get into reviews of the printed guide ad? Yeah, one more.
Oh yeah. Risa here is going to be so proud we got the microphone up. I did.
Thank you. The guide, that is Fringers only, not outside attendees of Fringe.
No, this is for the outside. This is like the general marketing guide. We're going to get this in the hands of everyone we can.
Okay, gotcha. So if someone buys a ticket to a show, they will receive that guide?
Oh, no. It's going to be out. Like we have, how do we say? It's just like the guide that we put at restaurants, at bars, at hotels, at every venue. There's going to be stacks.
We print 2,500.
Yeah.
So we print 2,500 and put them about 100 different places around the city. And then we also do postcards and posters. And this year a map. So they will all be distributed in different places based on what's going to be best. For that. So these are going to go more to hotels, and postcards will go to more coffee shops, Yeah.
But yeah, so if you're going to want one, I'm sure, as a participant. And so come to Fringe Central, go to your venue. We drop at least one box off at every venue. And then they send us hey, I need another box throughout the festival. We try to make sure every venue has plenty.
Press some reviews. Or
we have one more about guide. Okay.
Hi, I'm Regina. Trans Mom versus Family Court. It's my show. When you look at it on the phone, it cuts off the pictures odd. Is there an optimum format for when you're looking at your photos from your page? When you look at them on the phone, they kind of cut off weird. So, right? So square is the best one. And the second question, when do you run out of guides? How fast do they go?
So yeah, just to repeat that for the live stream, a square image for the website is going to be your best bet for that home image on your project page. And then when do we run out of guides? Last year, the last week of the festival. We're pretty smart about it.
And when we get it right this time too, we're always we have 10 left at closing. We're just ooh.
So we don't we run out of our venues for sure. They won't be available everywhere anymore. But if you're I really want a copy and you email us, we'll be able to be great. Because usually around that time we start to redistribute them. We'll pick them up from somewhere they didn't get as many at people and we'll redrop them off somewhere else,
I have a question. I don't know if we should answer it now, but a question is, how common is pay what you can ticketing?
We're about to get common.
So common. And guess what? We even advertise it in a different way for free and pay what you can tickets. We have a special little postcard that goes out to our community and our neighborhoods to make sure that they know that they can access free and pay what you can shows.
Yeah, we have special arrangements with the local neighborhood councils where we advertise within their communities so that their audience or their community members know that there is accessible theater at Hollywood Fringe. So yeah, if you're doing pay what you can options, you will definitely get an extra boost from us to make sure that audiences know, because there's not nearly enough affordable theater in our city and our world. So we try to make sure if it's happening, we let people know.
That being said, with pay what you can, make sure that if you are doing a suggested donation thing, make that pretty clear, because then it's not really the same. You know what I mean? If you're doing pay what you can in that general way, where it's just pay what you can give. I don't have a listing price. You'll put it at $0. Whereas if you're doing a suggested ticket price, which you can do within there, it can start at $5, and you just have to be okay with the fact that somebody might put in $0.
Yeah.
Then somebody might put in $20.
It happens all the time. Yeah. And we'll talk about how to do pay what you cans and all of that in just a little bit. That's in the next section. All right, let's step ahead. And then if you have a refresher review to it, we'll come back.
Woo! Okay, you go ahead. You can post press releases on the handy press tab. Did you know that? I did. So if you haven't started writing a press release, I suggest you start that you're not throwing it together last minute. It's really huge, you guys. So kind of the way that press works for us is we manage press credentials for the festival as a whole. And we get press registered for the festival and then tell them how to navigate our site and find you. So if you don't have your press release up there, you're not going to get press. And if you are not listening during this section, it'll be very hard for you because press is extremely hard to get in the city. And here are some hot tips. So once you've posted it on your site, it shows up in our kind of feeds, our news feed on the website. So doing it early is always great because then you'll be kind of up there and you might press updates, put up updates there because then it'll be in the newsfeed. Check out. Oh, don't even worry. I'm about to go over it in detail. So let's talk really quickly about how you can find your information all about marketing and press. In the supportal, you will go to the marketing and press section, support.hollywoodfringe.org, and the participant packet for sort of things like tips on writing your press release, an example press release, a list of recommended publications to reach out to. Google is your resource here. So if you're like, I want somebody at, I don't know, Discover Hollywood, then you might be Googling Discover Hollywood, Hollywood Fringe, finding out who that writer is and sending them a little personal email. So your press release is going to be kind of there's a very specifically formatted release of your information for the ticketing that goes live on May 1st. Most people will be sending it around that week or the week before. So it's really important for you to go to that participant packet, hollywoodfringe.org/participants. And we have in there an example on what to put in your press release, some formatting tips, and some information because we know that not everybody has that. Do you need to hire a press person to get press at Hollywood Fringe? No. Do you feel really, really scared and make you feel better? Sure, do it. But I will say that press is so hard to get here in the city, and most of it is authentic and being yourself and making connections and coming to things like our press mixer that we have so that you can literally meet them face to face and give them your pitch. We try to make it so that you kind of have every way to meet people in the way that is going to suit you the best. Some people are going to be best over email, right? You're like, you know what? My personality, it is better digitally. And you know what? That is okay. There are you. And so maybe you want to be that press person because you're going to be emailing a lot. And then you're going to want to send your very peppy team member to go meet people in person. So if you didn't catch our marketing and ticketing workshop, make sure you catch that. Our panels had a lot of helpful tips about press. And you know where you can find all of our past events? Our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hollywood Fringe. We have all of our workshops for years about how to do this. And I want to make sure that you're getting it from that artist perspective side. If you're like, how did they do it? They will tell you.
Yeah. Next town hall is going to talk a lot about press as well. So know that comes up there.
Yes. And you want to make sure that you're keeping on top of your email. So you send out that press release. You're not done. First of all, sending one about your show run. You probably might want to do one little follow-up. Maybe you get a sold out show and you can put out a little press release that says sold out 100-seat theater or whatever. 25 seats just say sold out. And you know what? That's another press worthy something to do. You know what I mean? You want to engage the press as if you are your own producer because guess what? You are. And what comes through that will come through you. So if any press wants to come to your show, press ticket requests are sent to the primary contact. So whoever is your primary contact who's getting paid is going to get that information. And so you want to make sure that you are on top of that email because we will be emailing you about any problems. Say there's a problem on the website, so that there's a ticket request, say an industry comp comes through. It is all through you, baby. A link in that email will be sent so you can create that press comp and then say, no worries, Lois, I'm so excited to see you. And then what you do from there is up to you. Some people are so cute. They'll do things like set aside a little seat for their press person. Some people, I've come to a show and somebody's handed me a water and I was like, oh my God, this person is amazing. You're running around so much. Lois and I see 30 to 40 shows. And so we'll be literally running show to show to show. And that thoughtfulness really does come through. I'm not telling people that they need to go buy bottled water.
And we're not fancy here. We're talking about other festivals when we're out there as industry. That's, people are treating us nice.
That happened here twice.
I've never gotten any water.
Yeah. One of them had a sticker around the water bottle with the label of their show. And I was like, fancy. But you don't have to do that. Somebody also left a fan for me. And I was like, oh, they know me. It's so. I don't know.
I'm going to change the subject really quick just to add, in the same way that it's up to you to hit approve on that press request, because the press is doing it themselves, right? They're sending the request, you're approving the request. You also have the ability to say no. You were allowed to decide. And some people do. It is not, the press is not owed a seat to your show. If they request too many, if you're like, no, you don't get 4 tickets. It is up to you to navigate the journey how you want to. And maybe you have a show where you're like, I don't trust LA Press to review this correctly. Like it is up to you to yes or no those requests. I just want to make sure you knew you had the full autonomy over that.
If you're like, wow, I am a visual learner and I need to see this, guess where you're going? You're going to go to tomorrow's web session where we're going to show you where all of this exists on the website. We're going to show you how to access it. And we're also going to show you how to create that press comp. So also, if you're like, I missed that, guess what you do? You go to that recording at youtube.com/Hollywood Fringe and you watch the recording and you learn how to do it on the website. Let's talk about reviews, because reviews are probably more important than press in a lot of ways because they are very accessible to out Hollywood. So what are reviews? They're free and organic marketing. They're pull quotes for that next press release. They are selling your show for you. So press will review on their own pages, and sometimes they review through the HFF site as well. Certified review means we can confirm that that person bought a ticket to your show. So if somebody has a certified review on your page, we have just confirmed that they bought a ticket through our website. Like it just says, yep, that person's for real. Say that somebody wrote a really nice review and you want it to be certified and you know they bought a ticket to your show. Cool. You can certify it yourself. Oh, so amazing. And you can encourage preview audiences to review. It's very important to do so. You want to be up there at the end of your preview performance being like, thank you so much for coming. Wow, it was just such an impactful time. And if you would love to make a big impact on an artist, you're going to leave me a review on the Hollywood Fringe site. And then everybody leaves. That's like how everybody does it. And it works. It works. People want to help you. And this is a free way that they can help you. And you know what else you can do? Message your patrons on the site. And you can be like, hey, you came to see my show. I hope you had a fabulous time. Here's the link to review my show. And you'll be able to get those reviews that way as well. They receive emails from us telling them to review your show as well. So there is like an automatic email that goes through. You can use these reviews to market your next run. And people searching for shows will see these reviews because guess what? Your page at Hollywood Fringe doesn't go away. So it'll live there as this kind of like conglomeration of like what people thought about your show from other theaters, that they look at that when they're like thinking about booking things. They'll be like, oh yeah, I go to your site and I see what the reviews say, because then they really know what the audience is saying. And so if you have great reviews, it's a great thing. You can also turn them off. If you're like, I am not at that point in my show or my emotional journey and I need a break, you can turn it off. You can have it all, but you can have it, none of it. You can't have only nice reviews. That's not a thing. That is not an artist. You can have 0 reviews, or you can have them all. 90% of Fringe reviews are good. It's a very nice crowd. And if something in your review is actually against our code of conduct, which has only happened like once or twice, and it's been very targeted and people it's very obvious, you just email us at that conduct email and we take care of it with you, and we'll make sure that you feel safe being still within the community afterwards. But again, it's happened twice.
It's usually, it's things of personal nature. If you can prove that it's a personal nature or someone's misgendered in your cast, like those are the things we will absolutely remove a review for.
I am going to speed through this next marketing session because guess what? Instead, you're going to read your participant newsletter and everything that I'm going to say right now is going to be there in much more detail and with applications and things that you can do immediately. Whereas if I just tell you about them right now, you'll have an idea of which ones you want to do. So Fringe run marketing. There's kind of some different pathways that you're going to get tickets for your show. Remember, we're talking, and then my first thing, we're you want to think about 40% of your house being sold, and you want to think about half of that coming from that Fringe marketing. You want to get in there through the Fringe marketing. In order for that Fringe marketing to happen, you have to be in the funnel. You can't just register a show at Hollywood Fringe and then all of a sudden be selling tickets, because it is how are they going to know about you? There's 400 shows. You have to stand out, and we give you so many ways that you can do that in a way that feels good to you. So some people are like, you know what? I'm going to do my imagery through Fringe, but I have 1,000 friends that are going to come see my show because I have this great podcast that I do and I don't need Fringe. That's fine. Then this section is not for you. If you're like, I need to know how to reach people, this section is for you. We have tons of marketing opportunities at Fringe, and these opportunities will roll out next week. Applications start opening next week. So start reading your emails and start doing stuff. Busking and pop-up performance opportunities. So we'll be going to different farmers markets, different community hubs. So it's my bad, Haverty. I'm sorry. I touched it. Different community hubs. And you will be able to do 3 to 5 minute snippets of your show. Get that in-person audience. It's busking light. And then we'll have like actual busking where you're like busking on the street, on the streets of Hollywood, but you have a team with you doing that. So that busking pop-up performance opportunity is such a great way for you to be able to like, you know that your show is what sells it, not you. That's what you want to do. You can sponsor a drink at the opening night party. There's only 3 of them, right?
I literally just put it on my to-do list to do that on Monday. But yeah, there'll be 3 or 4.
Like 3 or 4. And so it's a great way to stand out in a sea of 400 opportunities. So say like people have done it really smart. You're not sponsoring a drink if your show has nothing, you can't tie it into parties or soirees at all, because then it's just going to be kind of like this downer, like a dead dad show. And it's there like, do you really want that? Like, is that like the best marketing for your show? Maybe if you're going to say it like that,
And you can be funny about it.
funny, but like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like for that vibe. Like I said, there's a marketing thing for everyone. So like you get to work with our team to create a cocktail that matches your show's vibe and be able to market it that way. It's limited. Fringe Cabaret, again, 3 to 5 minute snippets. This is it's inside. There's air conditioning. There's water. This is a more formal thing. And we invite audiences and people in to come and see your show. You raffle off tickets to your show. Everybody, it's like a party. You get to see 8 to 10 other Fringe shows in that moment and get to be a deeper part of your community. Please do Fringe Cabaret. There's room for everybody to do it at least once. So please do it. Fringe Lightning Round. This is where this is a social media campaign that we do. And it's a lightning round. We lightning ask you to talk about your show. And then we put it together in this like lightning pitch video that goes out throughout the festival. It's fun. We have Fringe Runway. Are your costumes amazing? Apply for that. Are your costumes regular clothes? Don't apply. It looks dumb. And everybody goes, why did they apply for Fringe Runway? There's only 40 slots. And we know that we have 40 slots of amazing costumes throughout this production. That being said, they don't have to be like Elizabethan set-piece costumes or whatever that is. It can just be something unique, something that's not utilized within theater. Every year we have unique, interesting costumes. It just can't be street clothes. You know what I mean? And if they are street clothes, that has to have a meaning. Printed and online ads. Duh, we went over it. I'm not going to go over it again, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? Some people are like, I'm not that in-person vibe. I need to market it this way. And then I'm just going to get my people other places. And some people want that mix of both. And remember, it takes somebody 8 times to see an image or to hear about a show before they decide to buy that ticket. So if you tell them about it once and you hand them a postcard, they see an ad on the Fringe site and then they hear about Hollywood Fringe again. And then they see, you know what I mean? It's about having those touchstones so that people remember you. Postcard.
Excessive aggressive. I think that's the for everything.
Yeah. You want to be aggressive or excessive with your marketing, not aggressive. You want to have it everywhere, but you don't want it to feel like somebody has to see your show or else you won't be their friend. Because have you ever been marketed to that and then you feel like really icky about them and then you never support their work ever again? You know what I mean? Like that's what's going to happen. So like you want to be excessive about it, but not aggressive. You want to be a sweetie pie. Producers, sweetie pies. Postcards. Most everybody prints postcards. They're still a thing here, but they're not like an Edinburgh thing. Like you don't print 5,000. That's crazy.
Please don't do that. No,
you're going to do between 500 to 1,000. Some people print a little more if they're more of those like buskers and they're doing like that outdoor activation stuff. You might print out more. If you're less of that person, be on that low end. If you're just using it as a business card, because that's what you really want to use your postcards for. You want to put them out in the community at these different hotspots. Great reason to volunteer. And then you want to then hand them out to people when you're having conversation. You want to be like, oh my God, I loved your pitch so much. Let me have it. You know what I mean? Like become friends with people. There's discounted options for printing in the participant packet. Minuteman and Arnold, the printer, they're both great. They both work with Fringers before. They're really awesome when they're close. You can also use QR codes. So you can also have like, you know, something that you do at office hours that isn't the same that you do at the festival. Some people are like, at office hours, I give out suckers with QR codes because I'm with my friends and I want them to, I don't know, I want to be memorable in that way and be like, I know they're so amazing. Suckers is already taken this year. I'm sorry. She has heart suckers. It's hers, you know? So if you do it, you'll just be copying. But you can have some sort of like exciting thing, you know what I mean? Like some people do different things at office hours because they know that they're with their community. Don't feel like you have to buy merch for office hours. That's crazy. You can do whatever you want, but don't feel like you have to put your whole marketing campaign into that. Remember, you cannot put your poster or your postcards at Fringe Central if they do not have the Hollywood Fringe logo on them. It is at hollywoodfringe.org/branding. That's where it is. And you can find it in different things. We have like PNGs. We have a Photoshop file if you want to change the colors on it. I don't care what color our logo is. Just use it. Posters for Fringe Central must not be larger than 11 by 17 because we have so many of you guys. You can't be bigger than everyone else. And we put them all along our box office wall. So like you come in and it looks like the room of CBGBs. You just like have of all of these amazing posters and it'll look really cool. And you can start dropping off your poster if you want it at Fringe Central for our spring preview party, which is where we have like our donors and our sponsors. They come to like a little opening party before we open up that weekend Fringe Central, and you want your stuff to be in their face. You're going to start bringing it to office hours starting on April 30th.
Please do not do it sooner because we will lose them.
And we will not have a box where we can put it in and keep it really nice. You can bring your posters and your postcards, 40 or less.
40 postcards, not
postcards. One poster, 40 postcards. You can give them to us. We'll put them in a nice little keepsake box and we'll keep them for you. Rules for postcards. Never cover somebody else's flyer up with your postcard. That is so crappy of you.
Yeah.
It is so awful. How could you do that to somebody? They're working so hard and they were there first. Not nice. Posters and postcards like being left out without permission, also a major no-no. It sucks. You need to go up to whoever is in that space and say, "Hi, is there somebody that I can talk to about leaving my postcards here?" And they may say, "No." And you go, "Okay, thank you so much." And then you go. And some places will accept posters and they won't accept postcards. Some will accept postcards, but they won't accept posters. So you might want to just do a few posters as well.
Yeah, and this is how you save money, y'all. Please don't drop them without asking for permission. That's how you just get 40 postcards thrown away. That includes office hours. Y'all, I love that you have all of your marketing materials at office hours, but when we leave, there are still people there. That is not a Fringe run venue year-round or day-round. So we have to throw them away if you leave, a stack of postcards on every table because we don't have an office. We don't have anywhere to store these things. So please take your materials back with you after office hours.
I love guerrilla marketing with permission. Please do not put your postcards on like poles and stuff like that, guys. We can get in trouble. You don't get in trouble. Our logo's on there. And you'll get in trouble too. But like, no, we said no.
Yeah.
Don't put it where you don't have permission because then we don't get to do like fun. Like then we don't get to ask for like things that are outside of normal permissions. Does that make sense? Like if we're like breaking the law all the time, they're like, ugh, those Hollywood Fringers. Whereas if like we're really cool and then we ask like the city or somebody for like a little bit of an allocation, they're like, of course, they're so good. All their artists are so talented and so smart and
respectful,
community minded. Social media, you can follow us at Hollywood Fringe. You should be using the hashtag HFF25. We put that out into the world, HFF25 for you.
Yeah.
Then you can also join the official Hollywood Facebook group. That's in the participant packet. Tag us. Post live stories from Fringe events leading up to the festival. Key, we don't do this during the festival, but leading up to the festival, you're at office hours, workshops, town halls. Tag us at Hollywood Fringe. We might repost it. That is for stories, not for posts. But if you are like at one of these events, please start promoting it. That is such a great way for us to be able to promote Fringe. The reason we don't do it during the festival is because there's 400 of you. 400.
And as much as we'd love to, we can't do like the show promotion, right? It's you and your cast at rehearsal. Like we love all of you, and there's no way we can't have 400 stories a day. So we stick to things that are like Fringe run events or you participating in a Fringe program. That's different than like, look at my awesome cast. Your cast is so awesome. We just can't share all of you.
We don't have a full-time social media manager. It is Jeanette's title is marketing and operations. She has to do both. And then sometimes it's me and Lois late at night, So like, know that like if we miss your post, it's not because we're jerks. It's because we're busy. Social media tips we've learned along the way. Don't spam your posts. It's so annoying. Excessive, but not aggressive. People love to see behind-the-scenes images and photos, bloopers, fun insights in the process. Take photos and videos at your rehearsals. So you have them for documentation, because if you're going to apply for grants or you're going to have other things with your show, you need that documentation anyway. But post on your stories. Remember, like, stories are, like, crazy. Like, you can post anything. And then, like, say if you're like, I want my timeline to look so professional. Fine, that's fine. Do fun things throughout. Make people know you. Make us know you. Otherwise, like if it's just like glossy purple branding, how would I know you from Underbelly? That's the only company I can think of, which is an Edinburgh venue. And that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Weird. Tag other members of your team as well. Have them share. This is like sharing is caring. Having something, a campaign in your program, if you end up having one, or like maybe there's like you are utilizing the screen and so at the end it just says like at your show name or something. There's so many ways to get people to promote your show for you. I would recommend if you do want people to take pictures of you during your show, or if you do want that, you should say it, because most people's theater etiquette that they think of is that they're not allowed to take out their phones. And so if you do or don't want that, you should put that in your pre-show speech, which we'll talk about at our next town hall. Don't worry about it now. Start to create your brand. Like I said, purple, I thought of underbelly. So
they're doing great.
So they're doing great with that. When I think of the color orange, I think of the show called Supportive White Parents from like multiple years ago, because they use, pink, the specific shade of pink. And I remember it. Same thing with Bonnie's show.
I was going to say an orange, I think Sam from last year.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Start to create a brand around yourself with your colors, with your photos. Like when people talk about a brand, you like think about us. Our brand is rainbow, but we have a major brand color of blue. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that, but now when you're seeing our marketing, you can say we have like this specific rainbow colors. And then we have like, whenever it's like, you need to pay attention to this, it's a specific color of blue that's on our website. So like start to like kind of think of these three lines for your own thing. Make friends. Everybody in here is your people. Make friends, cross-promote each other's shows, talk to each other. That's it.
Yeah.
Should we have any questions before we go to buying and selling tickets?
Yeah. Can I suggest, just because we're on a little bit of a limited time, we're going to jump into it, and that way we get through all of the ticketing, and then we'll have time for questions. And then if we don't, remember, Ellen and I are going to stick around and answer any questions.
10 minutes.
I think we will too. I just wanted to jump in. Okay, buying and selling tickets. This is the big one. This one's coming up soon. So remember, all of this information can be found on our website. We have a great little article right in that portal. Thanks, y'all. And our participant packet. So everything that I'm word vomiting now is going to be available in print in both of those resources. Okay, ticketing on the Fringe site. 100% of revenue goes to participants. So no, the primary producer is getting 100% of ticket sales. We do have a small service fee, but that is not taken out of the ticket cost that you are putting down. That is going to the audience, just like every ticketing platform since the beginning of time, right? That is our credit card processing, etc. At least 50% of your capacity must be sold or available on sale on the Fringe website. Most shows do 100% of their tickets on the Fringe website. That way they don't have to try to manage two different platforms manually, because there's no way to track it if you're running them on our site and on Brown Paper Tickets or whatever is, other option. But you can. So know that is an option if you want to sell 50% of your tickets elsewhere. But again, make sure you're giving your audience the right information and that you're not overselling. That is a problem. You have 3 basic tiers for how to sell tickets. The regular price that we've talked about, that's what's going in the printed guide, right? That is your big, what everyone is going to see. You also have your community price, and that is with the button. So that's a non-negotiable. Everyone signed it in their artist agreement. $1 off for anyone who has a Fringe button. You also have your participant price. So this is if you want to offer a special deal for your fellow community, your participants, and that's going to include anyone who is on a project in this festival. So another reason to add your team, if you want them to really dive into the community and get those participant prices, make sure they're added to your project. So you do have that option. And these are not, like, the participant price is not advertised unless you are a project team member, then you see that price option. Okay. So sometimes it can get confusing where you're like, wait, I don't see this option because it's not available to that user account, that kind of thing. All of these prices can change at any time. You have full access. A big important thing for us is that you have full autonomy over your money. And that means you can change your tickets anytime you want. Do we recommend you do it after the printed guide? No, but you can. So know that you have full control there. Have some fun with it. So let's talk about the different options that you can play with within this beyond just those 3 ticket options. We have pay what you can. So the question came in from the chat earlier. This is when patrons can set their own ticket price, and you can absolutely have a suggested. And like Ellen said before, you just have to be okay with them choosing 0 because you were giving them that option to pay what they can. Sometimes that is 0. Levels. This one can get a little confusing. So I'm going to name right off the bat. Most people don't use levels. So you're going to see that option when you're in your ticketing page. Most people are not using levels. Levels come up, for example, when you have maybe a VIP experience. Is your show immersive and you have an option where they can come an hour early and have a drink that is covered by the tab. They can have a snack, whatever it is. That's where you'd use levels, is for a VIP experience. You may also use levels for if you want to have an option for like, hey, pay it forward. Maybe you want someone to be able to offer paying double with the idea that you can give away a free ticket. That's where you might use levels. You can also decide on levels how many tickets are available at each set level. You'll also have to make it clear which performances are being attached to those levels. So you'll see when you're creating a level, there's checkboxes with all your performances. You can select which performances have that or select all. So know that is what levels means. Discount codes. So you can make as many discount codes as you want. I've yet to see anyone hit a wall on these. They are great for your fellow participants. If you want to offer, you can do a discount code that is a free ticket. You can do a discount code that is half price. You can do a discount code for anything. This is a great way to get, if you're doing comp swaps with another show, I'm going to give you a free ticket and you're going to give me a free ticket. You can use a special discount code to make that process a little easier for you. Or you can use it as just personal marketing, right? If all your friends from college are in town and you want to make sure they feel loved and appreciated, use the name of your college in that discount code. So you can get very personal and very specific. You can also make certain ones available per performance, but it's really, you just have to decide where those discounts live on each scheduled performance. Separating out discount codes, maybe you have a discount code you use in your digital marketing. Maybe you have a discount code that you use in your print marketing. Maybe you have a discount code that you're using for friends and family. The more you separate out, the better your data collection will be. If you are trying to get a hold of how your marketing is working, using discount codes to kind of see where tickets are being purchased can be a really great resource. So yeah, go to town on that. Comps, free tickets. This will be for press, industry. Ellen already talked a little bit about that. Or just favors. Hey, I want to give you a comp ticket. Will you run my box office? There's so many ways to use comps at the festival. And you can add people in. So you have the comped option when you're viewing each performance. Click on that, and that's how you add a name and an email, and then they are emailed a comp. So use that to keep track, because you don't want to promise 20 comps and then realize oh, fuck, I have 5 seats open. I promised way more comps than I could possibly give. So please use the system. All tickets are released to your house when the scheduled cutoff time is. So what does that mean? That means you have a box office person that needs to know how many seats are still available. You choose when ticket sales stop on the website. Right now, it's automatically at 3 hours. You can make that 0 hours, so it'll run up until the bitter end. That's great if you want to have your in-person box office use a QR code or something that goes directly to the website. You're going to want to do it at 0 minutes, but you're going to want to keep track of that digitally, right? Have that will call up digitally.
We are asking our web designer to make it 0. So if you do want to change it, because isn't that what we asked Ben? So
right now it's 3 hours, though. I checked.
Yeah. So just letting you know that by May 1st, it may change to 0. So you should just probably check that.
Keep eyes.
If you don't want it to be 0.
Yeah. But your will call list is gathered for each performance as well. So make sure you are explaining this to whoever is running your box office. Sometimes that's the venue. Maybe you're in a venue that is running your box office. Just make sure you're communicating with your venue if they're running your box office, or your friends, or you're the person you've hired to run your box office, or maybe it's you. Probably not. Usually you're maybe busy being on stage, but make sure you are communicating how this works with your box office team. Something that people do often is add their box office person to the project page and give them admin capabilities. So if it's someone you trust, you can make them a project admin so that they have in the moment access to your will call and to the things happening on your page. Often venues will request that same access if they are the ones running your box office, so that they have that in the moment reporting of what's going on. Okay, remember, if any of this sounds overwhelming, if you're I can't visualize it, I hear what you're saying and it sounds easy, but I can't picture it, come tomorrow. Y'all, I am serious. We will go through this step by step. You'll have a visual of how to do it. I will even stay on and show you on your own individual pages as we set up code. So please come. We'll get it all straightened out, I promise. All right, we're going to talk through refunds and exchanges. We handle that. So one of the things about Fringe, and if you sell it on our website, right, we can't handle, brown paper tickets or whatever, on stage. We can handle the ones we run. But the Hollywood Fringe staff takes care of refunds, exchanges, any audience questions that come through. That's on us, not your venue. You don't have to take on that responsibility in the hours before your performance. We handle that for you. So what is our refund policy across the festival, right? It has to be the same, because festival-wide, we have to have that similarity, right? Otherwise, people get lost. There's too many of y'all to not have one through line of refund policy.
And this is different. So if you've done Hollywood Fringe and you're I know how this works. Listen to us.
Yeah. We were softer during COVID naming. So we did do refunds right up until the bitter end, because we didn't want people coming to a show sick for obvious reasons. One show goes down, 40 shows go down because of the shared audience. So our refund policy is knowing that any ticket buyer email support@hollywoodfringe.org, the same email that y'all use, the audience uses. And they have access. When they buy a ticket, they get an email that says our email that tells them to reach out to us. But just, you will get questions, and this is how you can handle that. We will honor refund requests received within 24 hours of the start time of your next performance. That is our window. So we will still honor requests for refunds, but not 24 hours prior to your show. So that full day, that way you can sell those seats. We're not taking, butts out of your chairs with 30 minutes before your show time. So that is a 24-hour window. That said, we will always push people to jump to another performance. Like, so somebody emails us, they're sick, they can't come. Great, there's a show coming up this Friday for the same show. Like, we won't push them into a different show. We'll jump them into another performance. And 9 times out of 10, that's what they do. Most people do not jump the refund. They will say, oh yeah, we got them. Great, I'll be there on Friday, and we will switch those tickets for them.
We also recommend that they donate the ticket if they're not going to come. And 9 times out of 10, they go, great, yeah, of course, would love to donate my ticket. You know what I mean? Because we want you to get that money.
Yeah. And so 24 hours, that's our window for refunds, y'all. Service fees will also will not be refunded in that case unless the event is canceled by the organizer. So let's say you end up sick or something happens within your production and you cancel your run or a performance. We will give the audience both the refund of the show ticket and our service fee to try not to, piss off a bunch of audience members. And that is the only time that 24-hour window doesn't count. If you cancel the show, the audience gets refunded, right? That's how they come back to other Fringe shows.
Service fee?
What is it?
Our service fee?
Yeah.
Is $3 per ticket. So if you're like, how much is the service fee that they're playing? It's $3 per ticket up to $25. And then if it's over $25, then it's 10 cents per dollar after that. Just because, it's expensive.
Yeah. So, okay, that is our basic ticket policy. Some less common ticket refund situations that I just want you aware of. They don't happen very often, but just so you know how we'd operate if these came up. If somebody requests a refund with less than 24 hours because of an extreme circumstance, if that does happen, and occasionally it does, we will email the primary producer. We will never refund anything within the 24-hour window without your permission, because that is your money and we respect that. But we'll reach out like, hey, and sometimes it's as simple as like, it's your mom. Do you want to refund it? And most often you do in that same vein.
They're sick, if somebody's sick, we're likely going to just email you, you know what I mean? Or they're like, oh, I had this a family emergency come up. But if they're, we can't just be like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, that's not on.
Here are your other options to buy a ticket in the future, Yeah. But we'll email you that first. In that same way, if you want to refund somebody after that 24-hour window, if it was mom and you're like, I can't do this to mom, like mom should get a refund, email us and we will also be able to refund something outside of that window, because sometimes that is the right thing to do, right? You want the audience long term, not just for that one performance. Okay, so that is our refund policy. Remember, 100% of ticket sales go right back to you. So that's why we take it so seriously. It's your money that we're helping with. So we want to make sure you get it. Okay, accessibility requests. Each will call list will also have an option for an accessibility request that is submitted from the ticket buyer. This is important. And again, it comes down to audience trust, right? We want to make sure your audience feels taken care of. So make sure you know what your venue is capable of. That is going to be a big thing. Is your venue wheelchair accessible? Does it have an ADA restroom on site? All of these things you don't have to have, but you do need to know what exists. That way you can accommodate anyone who is requesting to come to your show. It is your responsibility to check that will call list. So it is a good idea to check it the night before, the day of, maybe 2 hours before, just so you're seeing if there's any requests that come through. That way, if you're like, oh shoot, I actually don't know if this is possible, you're emailing your venue, you're hopping on a call, making sure that you are able to accommodate someone coming to your show. Or worst case scenario, are emailing us and saying, hey, I actually can't accommodate this. We need to refund. I'm emailing now to let them know, right? Because it's so much better to send that email 2 hours before the show starts than them getting there and finding out that show is not accessible to them. So it's all about communication here, y'all. Make sure to watch our accessibility town hall on YouTube at Hollywood Fringe to learn more about making your show as accessible as possible. And again, just communicating what your abilities are there, because that is the most important thing. We've also updated our accessibility flags. Learn more about it in that YouTube video, but make sure you're looking at your project page to update your accessibility. Oftentimes you can do some of these accessibility options without spending a bunch of money. Maybe you don't have money for an interpreter, but you do have size inclusive seating. Does your seat look like this, where there's not arms that means you have size inclusive seating where anyone can sit in that seat and be comfortable. If it has arms on it, like you are limited to how a person can sit in that chair. So look through those flags, and on each individual performance, not show, right, but each individual performance, and just see what is possible within your show.
Unless it's a really small, skinny chair, then it's not size inclusive. Yeah, stools are not, and many other things. So you know what you should do? Watch that town hall where we go into all the detail.
Town hall.
Town hall. We got
go downtown hall.
I think we can go to participant payout.
Baby, I'm gonna do this. Is actually kind of important. Okay, so really quick, how to make sure people are to the right places to buy tickets. HollywoodFringe.org, right? Send them to our website. Remember, your project page link will always be the same. If you want it shorter, use like a bit.ly or use a QR code. Just make sure the QR code is going to last beyond the print. Like if you're putting it on a postcard, make sure you're not going to get asked to pay $50 in a month, because that would suck. You also have the iPhone app. Sorry, Android users, we don't have that yet. We'll also have, of course, the in-person box office. Okay,
phone number.
And phone number. Yes. Okay. Participant payout. We will send that within 7 days at the end of the festival. So not at the end of your last performance, but at the end of the entire festival. We send out an email to the primary producer asking for your most recent address and a quick survey to see how your in-person box office did, so that we get an idea of general numbers, so that we can tell artists next year what to expect. Again, that will go out. Usually I send it the day after awards. So that morning I am sending out all of the information so that you can request a check and ideally get paid within 7 days, if not sooner.
Don't forget, you have to request it.
You do have to request it.
Not just wait for us to hound you.
Save the address.
You got to do it.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Questions? We have 7 minutes.
We can do this. Oh, and
hi.
4.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, my name is Caitlin. She, her. My show's called Slap Ass Friday. My question is, if you have started selling tickets on a different website, 50%, in order to then transfer them to the Hollywood Fringe, can you input them? You can't. You can send comps. You can add comps would be the way to do it. You can't just send that information. That won't put them on our list in any way, so they can't come to us to get refunded. But you can add them as comps. Yeah.
I just had a comment. If you're at the Broadwater, there's a hashtag that's specifically for them that will then play at the plunge. They will stream your little photo or video of your show. It's a marketing thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. So, but if you're at the Broadwater, they have a hashtag for you.
Already, we've got.
So it will.
Can we go to
any other questions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we have one more, and then we'll hop to Jen. Great.
Yeah. Tomorrow, and where is it?
Oh yeah. What is the event tomorrow, and where's
the event tomorrow, and where is it?
Yeah, so it's Web Sessions number 2 from 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom. If you go to HollywoodFringe.org, the event page is still up. Grab a ticket. That way you can be in the Zoom room with me and ask all of those questions live in the moment. And if you can't make it in person, it'll be on YouTube. Yes.
And it is on Zoom tomorrow. Yeah. If you can't make it while it's streaming.
Yeah. On YouTube for sure. Okay, Jeanette, all you.
Okay, these were also asked earlier too, so I'm just going to try to go through them. So Lauren asked, how do things work for free shows in terms of buying tickets? Is it essentially a reservation more than anything?
Boom, boom, bam-o, you got it. Or if you're pay what you can, then there's the option to add a little bit of money to that ticket.
Perfect. This is a guide question I'm going to ask now. What is the best way to format the short description for the guide?
What do you mean by format?
There is no formatting. You can't get a new line. You can't get any of that. We are trying to put 400 plus shows into this ding-dangy guide. So you got to just put it in there and put your most important words first.
It will be. So I guess, everyone will have the same font. So no matter what font you choose on your project page, it all goes out the window for the guide. Also, that actually is a good question. No emojis, y'all. We cannot promise emojis. We can't print emojis. It just won't work in our design element. So my apologies. We can print symbols like hashtags and things like that. Just no emojis.
Please smile.
Yeah. Go old school.
20. Let's do it 20 times. Yeah.
I will do this and we'll come over.
Can we have a limited number of pay what you can tickets, or is it automatically unlimited?
So technically, you can do a level as pay what you can that is limited, or you can also turn it off. You can have it start at pay what you can, and then at a certain point turn that off.
And you can't get the lowered registration of free and pay what you can shows if only some of your tickets are free and pay what you can. That's not what that means.
And I have an audit link. I will find out.
I think I have like two more, but these are pretty quick. What price range do you suggest? This was talking about just ticketing in general.
Last year, our average ticket sold was $10 and the average price listed was $15. So in that guide, you're going to want to know that average was around $15. Actually being sold for that budget, $10.
Yeah, because remember, discount codes, use them.
Comps, all of these different things.
And then if we want to collab with the fellow show to offer a joint discount when both shows are in the basket, just in general, is there a way to do this? So like a joint discount code between shows?
Yeah, use office hours. Meet each other at office hours and decide what that is, and then use that same code. Because remember, you can create whatever code you want to. It won't necessarily that directly attach, but you can have the same code and then create marketing surrounding both of those shows, naming that one code will work for either show. So another reason to come to office hours, yeah.
Just to recap the deadlines.
Yeah.
I have not registered yet, but so I'm still thinking about that.
I love that you outed yourself.
Was touring a venue before this.
So the deadline to register is April 15th, but you said there is still like a soft deadline that you can get into the guide, the printed guide, if you send it until the 20th or the 21st.
So we have like those 3 deadlines, or like the 2 soft deadlines are the 21st and the 26th. Ooh, I think I got that right. Those are the days before I send out a proof via email. So if I have your information in the site by then, that means it'll show up in my proof because I pull all of that information directly from the site, right? So you have technically until both of those deadlines, the first being the 21st. But if you register before that, that will help because I actually, again, I'm able to audit you. I'll have you on a list of people to reach out to double check, to work with venues to make sure you're booked in and kind of light a fire under their asses as they're booking in last minute shows. So just the sooner you register, the better chance I can promise you actually get in the guide.
Any more questions?
Hi.
Sorry, I might not have just caught it in the end where you were saying requesting the cash or something like that. So we have to, it's that process. Do we like email you to request the payout basically?
Yeah, that's a great question. So no, we'll send you an email at the end. No, suckers, like try to find me after the festival. No, no, I know that we hold that money, goes in a special account that is your money, and the reason we send out the request is to make sure I send it to the right place, right? Because who knows, or maybe you have a different legal name that you want used for your check or at your bank, whatever. So we'll send out hey, here's a link to request your check, and then as soon as you do that, I'm sending checks daily. So the sooner you request it, the sooner you'll get that money, which I'm going to say USPS kind of sucks. So it will take about usually 4 to 7 days. So the sooner you request it, the sooner you'll have it.
Underfunded, you know?
Apologies if you covered this already. Is there a limit to the amount of comps we can give out for the show?
Your seat number.
Yeah. No, then you cannot change the house capacity. I don't know if anyone has discovered that yet. The venues is the only one with that power for obvious reasons.
Hi, this is Seamus. Historical gay comedy starring Nancy Reagan clown show. Is the printed guide in digital format all throughout the festival? Okay, thanks.
And guess what? You could look at this one that was being passed around at hollywoodfringe.org/guide. See what last year's looked like. And then we'll put this year's up when we get it.
Yeah.
And in terms of the seat capacity, is that already automatically stops when people buy tickets?
Yeah. And some venues, if you're selling your tickets elsewhere, you can also lower your house capacity. So that's another way. If you don't want to do comps, that does make sense if you want to see everyone in one place, as opposed to handing your box office team 2 different sheets, which would be obnoxious. You can change your house size. And I think that is definitely something you do ahead of time to make sure you don't oversell. So say, I know Hudson, they do a 50-50 and tickets have to be sold elsewhere. Cut your house in half. You can lower your house. You just cannot make it higher. You can't oversell your house, but you can say, okay, there's 25 tickets. I'm going to cut that in half and only place a certain amount on sale.
We're going to end on time. So yay, go us. Email us at support@hollywoodfringe.org. See us at office hours and we'll answer any further questions. We'll be here for just a minute if you have a question now.
Yeah. Happy Fringe!